So when you're ready. So we're good to go.
Yeah, we're good. It's my channel. I'm the first to talk.
So I'm keying you in. You are smiling. You say we're live.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
The name of this channel is Laju Iren, so you have to listen to me first before the guests. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Happy Valentine's Day. For those of you who have babes and booze, happy Valentine's Day. For those of you who are single, you're just single, you didn't kill anyone, so happy Valentine's Day to you too. I have a very special guest on my channel who's already introduced himself. My personal Valentine, my boyfriend of how many years, my husband of 7 years and counting, my pastor of over a decade, my best friend, Pastor Emmanuel Iren. I'm smiling so much, my cheeks hurt. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
How does it feel to be here? Apart from good, okay, you said good.
Like I'm starstruck. I want to thank you for helping my career.
Yeah, you should.
I know that I'm really going to blow after this.
I know you are very busy, so I'm really glad that you are here. Thank you so much for being such a good sport. You look nice.
Thank you for the top.
I like your outfit.
She bought me this.
I bought him this outfit.
I knew you were going to bring it up.
But when we came to the studio, nobody told him that it looks nice.
Actually, it's very nice.
It's a very lovely outfit. I don't know, the people behind the scenes, I don't understand, but it's very nice. I love it so much, and I love you so much.
You know, I already wanted to wear something, and she said, wear this one. So I knew she was going to bring it up. But I thank you. Thank you for this Valentine's Day.
Okay, so today we're talking about
marrying young.
Yay! So we're going to be answering a couple of questions.
What if I didn't know that? Well, you just put me on the spot like that.
No, you're very, No, I knew you would know the answer because, I mean, I've given you the expo. So we're going to be answering a couple of questions about marrying young. Is your network working? Mine isn't, so that we can also take more questions from the guys who are online.
Okay, got you.
All right. So welcome, everybody. Let me take your phone. Ooh, this girl's fine. Oh. All right, welcome everyone. So I have in this box a couple of questions I want my husband to answer. Pick one.
You want to put me on the spot, so.
Yeah, read it.
How long have you been married? Let me see, 7 years.
Yeah, so we've been married 7 years. How does it feel to have been married 7 years?
Man, I don't know how it feels. If sometimes it feels short, sometimes it feels long. But I think what really matters is that God has helped us to be very purposeful about this. And it's been really fun, you know. So I really like doing life with you. You know, sometimes when you're preaching good, I'm just like, wow, so this beautiful woman is in my bed. Like,
oh my goodness.
You guys, your PL is my, you understand? So
your what?
You want me to be more? Do you want me to talk?
I'm not understanding this video today.
I mean, it's Valentine's Day,
so me preaching good is like your fetish or what?
I honestly. You see, you know, when I talked about it on Twitter the other time, there was a lot of backlash. And it got to Insta blog and all the blogs.
Okay, so when you said my wife looks very sexy when she prays.
Yes.
I get it, Sha. I think for me.
So as you were preaching, you know, 2 weeks ago, watching the video.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
When he bent down like this, he sees you. He's fine girl.
It was like, drop it down.
He sees you.
It was like that, drop it down.
Yeah, he would be more dramatic about it.
I get Sha, because I think sometimes when I see you preaching, I'm like, especially when you wear white shirts.
You at least white shirt.
White shirt and wait,
and it's usually with my sleeves folded.
Yeah, that, and then maybe when you've not worn your suits or your sorry, this is not the. I don't. What are we talking about in this video? Please, next question.
Anyway, yeah, in 7 years, it's something that she does. She will wait for me to dress up. When I'm all dressed, she will then come and give me a tight hug.
When you're wearing your white shirt before you wear your
Yes.
jacket, that's my fetish.
Tight hug to squeeze the
Then you know
shirt.
sometimes when you've been laying hands on people and you're sweating, you now remove the. What are we talking about? What's the title of this video again, please? You now remove the jacket. I'm like, this pastor is hot. Jesus. Next question.
All kinds of hot, yeah, because you see, I'm
yeah,
sweating.
yeah. But I mean,
Then
like,
full of the spirit.
yeah. Then.
The other one too.
All right. How would you advise someone who has the desire to get married early but hasn't found the right person yet? I think we should. Okay. How would you advise someone who was
Am I
like?
answering all the questions?
No, we're answering them together now.
Okay, so how would you advise someone?
Wow. So I know that for us, we wanted to get married early, and I think it was something that we both desired for each other. You're sweating.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we get him handkerchief or do we
No,
do
don't
breaking
worry,
transmission?
don't
Are you
worry.
good? All right. Would you like some water?
Just put on the other AC and.
Okay, all
Go
right,
ahead,
no
madam.
problem. So first of all, I would say it's a good desire that you have to get married early, to get married young, and we are going to be talking about it today. But I think that beyond getting married early or young, it's important to marry well. I think that that's one of the most important things. So I would say it's not too late. Say don't catch late comers, and don't worry, God's got you. But it's more important to marry early. It's more important to marry well than to marry early. Over to you.
Well, just go over the question again.
How would you advise somebody who's like, okay, you know, we got married really young, so that's what we're talking about today. And how would you advise somebody who desires to get married young but still hasn't found the right person yet and time is ticking?
Well, I think that marriage is beyond desire. Marriage is like a project. And not like a project. Marriage is a project, and there are a lot of pieces involved when it comes to having a good marriage. So it's more than desire. It starts with desire, but definitely it's more than desire, because to be married, it means that you must be emotionally, financially, physically mature. So of course it takes a lot. So for many people, it's that financial part, and then some other factors. But if you really want to marry early, you have to know what it takes and plan for it, and then for God's sake find the right person. You know, when people say, why did we get married so young, I'm just like,
I think
why not?
We haven't picked the question of how old were we when we get married. So let me just ask it. How old were we when we got married?
You know, you argued the last time, you know, we were asking an interview, so just tell me. We
How
got
old?
married in November, my birthday was December,
Yes.
but I think somehow you just like to imagine I was older. So
We got married. So wait, let me understand. If you were born in 1989 and you are counting the date in 2014 November,
there's a reason
how
why
old are you?
we have birthdays. Laju Iren. I can't believe that so many
How can
years
you be claiming
after
24?
from that Lola D
24
video.
It's been 5 years and you still no agreed. How can you be claiming 24 years of age when it's 1 month to your birthday?
Because it's not my birthday yet. It wasn't my birthday yet.
So
I was
how old-
close. I was.
So how old were you when we got married?
You've already answered. So it's your channel. So
25 years old though. 25 years. Because you are 18 months older than me. And me, I was 23. And you were 25.
I'm just 18 months older than you. Are you sure?
Yes, now. Just like you like to...
Raise shoulder. Okay. No
you like to
problem.
form 80s, baby.
No, I'm an 80s. But what do you mean?
Oh my
Like.
goodness.
Anyway, I don't want to call your year. Like, anyway, you've already said how old you are, so people can do the math.
We got married in 2014.
Okay.
Abi? Yeah, and I was
Of course.
23. Anyway, so that's your advice for people who want to get married early.
Okay, I guess that's the thing for you. Like, you don't want it to be like you were 23, I was 24.
Eh.
I
Is it now you're understanding?
Yeah, I finally get it. Okay, let me help you. I was 25.
It was 20. Thank you. Finally, please, you heard it here first.
I'm a man of God. That feels like a lie, but
You went. Let me ask people online. If somebody should get married,
please, exactly.
people that are online. If somebody's birthday is in December,
help us.
and this is November, and their birthday is in 1 month, and they were born in
See your
1989.
fans. PL is cute. Now only PL you see here. Abi. Don't worry. Just
No, it's ladies. They don't want to fight. If they say you are cute, it's
be summer. No, I'm not cute.
you're handsome.
Exactly.
Handsome man. All right, let me find another
All right,
question.
so
Don't worry. Please, who is judging the matter? Now that you know the
someone said at 25 was still writing post-UM. Okay, 24. These people
are from your channel. They're not from this channel. They are guests from your channel.
24. Good Christians.
Please, next question. That one was not even a real question.
Of course. Someone still said 25, man.
Yes,
fans.
now.
But 24.
These people are from Emmanuel Iren Live. When you please subscribe to my husband's channel. I know you're already coming from there, but still subscribe. Next question. That one is done. No among. What are the advantages of getting married early? You know, I remember when we first had the conversation. I don't even know if you remember. We're not yet planning to date then. I think you were about 18. And you told me, I want to marry very young. Can you remember? That conversation we had from Sports Complex to Mary Hall, the first time we really talked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you said you wanted to get married really young.
Okay.
So I know that it was...
I think you already had a crush on me then.
Okay, I had a crush on you,
No. I just wanted to put you on the spot, but
I had a crush on you,
I had my eyes on you too, though. Like, yeah. But anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, but these are dating until after like 4 years, Sha.
Yeah.
I had my eyes on you.
No. But you agree that we dated at the right time.
I shall marry you last. What are the advantages of marrying early? Why did you always want to marry early?
I'm still coming back to that question because I really see the hand of God. You know, when it comes to when we started dating, it might have been too distracting if we started dating in school.
Yeah.
So just 1 month.
You have to keep telling yourself that you did ask me out early, but it's okay. It's okay. We are here now. Here is holy.
Oh my God! All right, go ahead. So what's your question?
Advantages of getting married early.
I don't think there are. Anyway, generally, of course. Don't worry.
Should I have made this video PG-13? 18 and above, or married and above?
I think by my laughing, you already know what I was going to say. But on a more serious note, I won't say there are. I won't like to put anybody under such pressure to say you have to. I think the most important thing is if you found the right person. For God's sake, if you are 30 and you've not found the right person, by all means, wait. And if you are 22, you found the right person and you have all it takes to settle, please settle. And God was so kind, to help me find the right person. There aren't so many, people who fit, what I wanted. There are a lot of great ladies out there, don't get me wrong, but for the peculiarity of my assignment, I had a very specific spec. so and God was really kind. I saw it as a graciousness of God, not just to me but to my assignment, and so when you find the right person, the advantages would be that of course the companionship starts earlier, the sex comes earlier, I'm going to say that with a serious born again face, or you begin to know each other. Let me use KJV language.
It means that the conji ends earlier.
Actually, I won't say it ends, but of course,
as in is sorted, begins to be sorted earlier.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
so
it's a straight face for me.
Born again face, and then of course, when you have an assignment like mine, of course, you begin to be partners of purpose. I think I put that in the card I gave you for Valentine's. The fact that it's been quite a journey, doing this with you and all of that, and so for that, I think it was a pleasure that we started early.
And you're something you said during boot camp about
and
Kairos.
Kids early.
Yes,
I love kids. So.
There was something you said in boot camp about Kairos, about how what would it have been like if you were still single now. So I think understanding the peculiarity of your assignments early enough also really helps you.
Yes.
And then building a future before you've quote and unquote arrived.
Just to to comment on that, I feel like if you're a man of God and you believe that God has given you a message for the world, it would do you mighty good to settle down on time.
And then many times the relationships that you build in your process are more trustworthy in a sense than the
Mm-hmm.
relationships that you build when you've at least reached a certain level of success. So I
Exactly.
think that's very important, because many times there
Exactly.
are guys who are like, I just want to make all the money in the world before I start
Mm-hmm.
looking for babe.
Mm-hmm.
And many times in that kind of situation, it becomes very difficult to sieve the
Mm-hmm.
motives and to
Mm-hmm.
find the right person,
Yeah.
because
You're right.
you're at a stage where everybody now sees
Mm-hmm.
you as someone that's worth investing their life in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, I think you're very right. Because the house I married this lady into,
it was a beautiful 2 bedroom.
a beautiful matchbox.
We loved it.
It was amazing. And you know, like my first week in that house, I was just like, God, you love me too much. Like, see my
Well,
house.
he
Like,
called me, say, I can't believe we have this beautiful
in fact,
home. Oh my
so
goodness.
I think, and I think that's another thing we'll discuss either now or later. You know, contentment. The Bible
Yeah.
says, "Godliness with contentment
It's
is a
great
great
game.
gain." And I remember something you told me. We just got like a very expensive gift, and you looked at me and you said, um, "I don't know if you remember that night." You said we're about to sleep in bed, and you were like, "I didn't choose you because I knew things were going to be this comfortable,
Okay.
you know, but." The fact that God did this for us is
Okay.
just
I think
wonderful.
it was when we got that car that replaced the Sienna.
No. I
It
mean
was
something
something else.
more
More
recent.
recent.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
last year. You know,
Uh,
so and so well, it's been wonderful. Just the fact that I look at you and I have zero doubts, you know, what your motives are, even though you are really.
I go stitch up your money.
I know. I was about to say that, but at least I know that your heart is right. I did.
This video safe. I hope you guys are learning something. Please, I told them I'm going to open a handle at that pampered wife. If you have more questions, please you can share them in the comments. Here's another question. Oh, okay. This one I don't want to ask a question because I think you've kind of answered it already.
Okay.
What were the challenges we faced as a young couple? First of all, before we got married and after we got married, what were the challenges we faced? I'm going to pitch in.
So I'll talk about after we got married. I think that there are just many pros and cons to getting married early. So I didn't really understand this, but you know, in retrospect, I understand. There was one quarrel we had, and when your mom chimed in, she was like, "It's because you guys are young." Like, you know, she said, "You have this quarrel because you guys are young, and you know, I think I'm going to be more intentional about praying for you guys and counseling you guys because I just allow you guys because you are mature in many other aspects and I forget that when it all comes down to it."
She
you're
said
young.
that.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember.
No, bitch, because she said it to me.
To you, okay.
You know, so I was like, what's she talking about? But now, when I look back, and that very argument, and the way I reacted, the way you reacted, apart from the fact that we are wiser now, I just think that there is something that experience and maturity
Yeah.
does, especially when you're in your formative years, you are still finding yourself and all of that. So, I'm a lot more comfortable in my own skin, and so are you. So I just feel like there are some things that, and I got matured, you know, very, very early. But there are still some things I had to learn, you know. So I just feel like, at least that's what comes to mind now. So
You say you got mature early. I agree. Well, I guess there are some areas where. Sorry, I need water.
did you get mature early?
I don't want to say anything on the grounds that it might be used against me.
No, I mean, as a free world, you can as well just.
Well, but I totally get you because I think that we did have a lot of growing to do, and many of those arguments in the earlier years were things that probably if we were older, we would have maybe handled better. Maybe not. Maybe we needed to be married to go through that process of really growing in that particular area. So I think those were some of the challenges. There were also a couple of financial challenges, quotes and unquotes.
Oh my God.
But I think it also came with like being responsible. We've always really been a responsible guy. So for example, when we realized we were pregnant with our first daughter, Edima, as soon as we realized we were pregnant, we started saving. Started saving little by little to make sure that it wasn't.
How much were we saving? Like 10K per month?
Because they said the hospital bill was going to be around 120 or so. So we were saving like 10K. No, was it 10K?
No, 120K was just on admission. You were going to pay down payment.
Then
before.
Then they were likely to give us change, which they would have given us if she didn't have
if we didn't have to do CS, which thankfully she did.
Yeah. But there was another thing, so she had to do phototherapy for something. But anyway, so there were some of those financial challenges. But I think we were able to at least be responsible enough to save up. And then, even though you had a call upon your life, you took on an additional job in those early years so that we could make it work.
Yeah.
So and then some of those financial things also used to bring some quarrels.
Yeah, but you see, when you put it like this on live video, it sounds sweet and rosy. Like I was so responsible. I took an additional job, but now you push me. Say it now.
I didn't push you. Now.
Remember that text? I'm the one wearing the ring. What was happening?
The thing is that we were engaged for like 2.5 years. So, and we were engaged for a while. Look. When we got engaged,
she said, "Go get a job, bro. Go get a job."
It was more complicated than that. When we got engaged,
so now we're now in your life, and you're so responsible.
Let me just them the cheese job. When we got engaged,
I went to primary school. I said, "I want to teach." Make I hear what?
It was not primary school. It was secondary school.
Okay, secondary school. I say I will teach intro tech. I will teach TD. Just let me hear.
Well, how you go engage somebody? You say you won't marry 2012.
When will be padlock?
You know, one time I was in the office, one guy, I'm sure that guy is still single now, was trying to talk to me. I said, "See, I'm engaged." He said, "This one, now engagement ring, I've been a handcuff."
The guy is a fool. I think that's where the problem started. I think that it was after that he sent me that text.
I can't remember. So anyway.
Oh God.
Well, I think there's some of the challenges though, financial challenges. And then of course we're also trying to handle ministry because we've been in ministry together longer than we've been married.
Oh yes.
Longer than we've been dating.
Yes.
So when you were just my mentor,
I don't really know why you joined the ministry, what your motives were, but we really.
You asked me about the time you asked me out and I said no. So all the shakara you're doing, as if no.
Wait,
I've been pining over you all over
and
all
you said
all my
yes,
life.
4 months after. It was 4 months after.
4 months. No, okay. What was I saying before that?
And when you said no, I moved on.
You did not move on.
You
didn't move on. No.
God had to show me a vision to say focus on. Don't worry.
You didn't move on. You say when I was saying no, you say no problem. I'll move on. One time you now told me that you like one girl like that. I said okay, no problem.
That thing touch you. But anyway,
I said my roommate is a friend. I'm going to tell her to ask her out for you.
When I was doing TTG, I was sitting at the back. You know all this
because you were my friend. That's what I was talking to. You now came back and said no, that don't worry. You're the one. You pursue me dying now.
I pursue you. Even though.
I like you, but not be say, why you gonna do like say because you're a fresh guy?
No problem.
I'm happy you pursue me, Sha.
No problem. I won't say more than that.
Okay.
Now God save you.
You got saved. You're the one that got saved. Everybody, you guys know I had a crush on this guy. Was doing shakara. Anyway, we shall thank God. She be here. You are now.
Yeah,
I know the password to your ATM.
You don't born to.
I know the password to your ATM.
You don't born to.
And adopt one. How many is that? 3.
On my couch. On my couch.
You are sleeping in my bed.
Okay, well, no wahala.
You're eating my food.
Actually,
I mean, anyway.
Don't worry. Let's not.
I've asked all these questions before.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. Do you guys, are there questions online? Please help me check.
If you have questions, please just put it
Oh
there.
my goodness, I'm enjoying this video. Thank you for doing this with me.
Someone says we did it for 2.5 years. No.
No, we didn't date for
engaged.
we were engaged for 2.5
For
years.
2.5 years.
We
were
did it
dated
for like
4
3 years. 3 years. So I dated
Okay.
in 2011 July.
Okay.
And we got
Okay, that's
married
true.
2014
November.
November. So we were engaged for a long time. Jesus.
We thank the Lord.
We can do that.
But
period
it was
not easy.
focus. It was focus. In my
Yeah.
defense, it was focus because I would have just dated you for 3 years, engaged you 1 month to the wedding, but it was focus.
Yeah, I don't actually blame because I also think that if maybe we didn't
And I don't hold it against you that you almost made me take intro tech.
I know that you make it if church money.
I know. You couldn't have, but I just want to put it out
convinced
there.
you to do
There
a
was nothing to
legitimate
steal.
job. I convinced
How
you.
much be offered that time? 2.5.
That time, but with the parents for ICM.
It
now.
was a miracle. No, I'm okay. It was.
Okay, we
we're already on-
were
okay, yeah,
close
we-
to the wedding when we moved to ICM. It was the same year we got married.
Oh yeah, it was the next year.
Mm.
We moved to ICM 2015.
No, we moved to ICM 2014 January.
Oh yeah, that's
Then we
true.
now got
That's true.
married. So,
That's true.
what do you think about the belief that people have to first sow their wild oats or explore other options instead of marrying
So the wild
early?
oats, what do you mean by that?
Like maybe date, see what's out there. Like why must you? Because I think you were my first serious relationship. I was your second serious relationship. So what about this idea that people have to at least date many people until they are ready to settle down?
First and foremost, it's not biblical. Secondly, it's not even statistically proven. If anything, off the top of my head, I think that it would even complicate matters more, because then you have unrealistic expectations, because subconsciously you are comparing, to some attributes. For instance, my wife is a lot more expressive, a lot more confident, and in many other aspects, I appreciate that about her. But because I had an idea that, like, a relationship where you ask questions, there's a problem. So I mean, I think it took getting used to. Let me put it that way, But I just feel that you can never go wrong doing things the Bible way, and the Bible definitely does not say you need to explore. For you to do that, you'll be a player, dating many people without the intention of getting married. No Christian should ever. There is no biblical provision for dating without marriage being the focus. So.
Okay. Somebody is asking, how do you select the right one when the girls around you have similarities?
You have to pick one. That's the thing. And I think that we have this idea of love that makes people ask questions like this. We think that there is one bone of your bone. By the way, just in case you don't already know, Adam did not just say bone of your bone of my bone. This is now bone of my bone. He said flesh of my flesh. And so the idea that he said bone of my bone because she was taken from his rib is not right, because she was not God didn't take Adam's flesh. So when he was saying bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, he was just speaking metaphorically. The fact that she was one of the same kind, and not just another animal. This was another human being. That's what he was saying. And so as much as you can say you are the most beautiful girl in the world, you are one of a kind, it's more accurate to say you are the most beautiful girl in my world, or you are the only girl in my world, and I have made an active, conscious decision to love you and to favor you above all others.
Yeah.
And it is accompanied by emotions, but it's not. I'm not.
But guided by commitment.
Exactly, guided. You
Thanks, sir.
You can't took me word. You can preach. Yeah. So, but guided by commitment. So you just have to be committed to one person. So that's just it.
I think that the person you choose has to be the best in your eyes, because if you keep, the reason why I haven't seen anybody better, of course I mean Emmanuel Iren, I mean
I'm trying to be humble.
yeah, but But even when you were not the Emmanuel Iren that is now the Emmanuel Iren that everybody knows as
I've always been Emmanuel Iren, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, okay, I'm happy you do. I've never. I'm happy you do. Now make I talk as I want to talk, Joe. I've never actually really been looking. So I think it's important that you keep your eyes focused on the person that you've chosen. I think that's so important. Someone wants to know how we dealt with feelings, and emotions, and how did we overcome falling due to sexual urges?
Please,
Pastor, please answer the question. Apostle, over to you.
There was one day you helped me. I was, and they say, man of God. I will never forget that. Man of God, just reset me straight up.
Oh my goodness. I think that let me let you answer.
The Lord helped us.
It was the Lord. It was not the Lord. Like it really was
the Lord helped us.
It really was, and I think people need to understand that no matter how spiritual you are, sexual temptation is a real thing. And it's interesting because God put it there for a particular time. So he's not going to remove it because you need it eventually. You need it in the relationship. So you first of all need to be led by the Holy Ghost and then really
do your best to put checks in place. The reality is even that is not all there is, because I mean we were very accountable to people, to our parents, but somehow, some way, sometimes, in fact, there were times I would come to your house, I'll visit, it's a full house, then everybody's going out, just going about their day. Hey, I'm going to the market, I'm going to the...
and all of a sudden, you are alone.
Then the man of God is speaking in tongues, you want to touch me, I say, hey, get behind me.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Angels.
You know.
Thank God they are saved by grace.
I was speaking in tongues.
But anyway, but I just want you to know that a sexually pure relationship where you wait until the wedding night for sex is possible. And that
God still helped us do it.
God still helped us do it, yes. And that even when you do cross your boundaries, you can always get up, be accountable, and do better, and have a wedding date in mind. Because if you're just dating endlessly, like at least if there's a wedding date, okay, this is the day that there will be the fulfillment of the promise. But when you're just dating,
that's why
without end.
Our first fight was our first almost fight was the wedding reception. Because
he was looking for me.
Because after I've waited all these years, you were now greeting people.
I went to change.
Do fast, make we go out.
No, I was angry.
What are you talking about? Do fast, make we go.
Oh my God! Someone says, did we have any doubts during the engagement period, and how did we deal with it? Because as young people, you discover you're likely the only married people in your friendship circle. I think that was true. I think we're one of the first amongst our friends to
answer that question,
to get married. And I think that if we were not engaged as early as we were, which is why I'm happy you asked me to marry you early, I think we may have broken up if we're not engaged as early as we were.
Okay.
So I truly believe that, first of all, there was a statement of commitment that we were going to be doing this for life. So that helped us not just say, oh, well, he said this or she said this and just end it. I think that helped us be better committed to each other. And then I think that I always trusted what God had told me about you. I always trusted your love for me, even in times when things were rocky. And then somehow, you actually love me.
Oh, I do.
My husband actually loves me. So even when things were rocky, I think there was always understanding. There were times I was really difficult, but eventually there was always understanding. I don't even remember that day that we almost broke up.
No, never.
It's sweet sensation. In fact, like I'm not doing again. So who will now go now? After saying we are done, we're now sitting down there.
That's not the way I remember it, but no problem.
Okay,
I just really thank God that we're here today, and I have no regrets.
Yes, I think that's because now I'm remembering that it was more complicated. But yes, what he said. What do you think should be the maximum age gap between a couple?
That's a difficult question. I feel like the difficulty is not because of any doctrinal limitation, but the reality is that there are practical limitations, and that's what makes it something to really consider. You have to understand that even if it's just a 3-year gap, sometimes it's a lot for two reasons. Number one, just for instance, not because the people I'm about to use as an example should be thinking of marriage or anything. If you are in secondary school, maybe SS2, and someone is in year 1 in the university, even if it's just 2 years or 3 years gap, the exposure is, I mean, very, very. So there's a lot of exposure difference, and then generally it can be easier when it is the guy who is significantly older, but when it is the girl older, naturally girls mature faster than guys. So, like someone brilliantly said, at the age of 5, a girl has already very likely pictured what her wedding would be like, what she will wear, and stuff like that. And a guy is just playing Superman and Batman at that age, you know. And practically, when a guy and a girl graduate same class from the university, the girl is almost ready psychologically for marriage on average. But the guy, it's just like there's this secret pressure that my life is just starting. And that just tells you that there is a huge divide. And that's why even if you are dating your age mate, the guy will have to step up, and take some responsibility. So it's now even a more precarious, somewhat challenging circumstance when she is even older. All right. So, I mean, it depends on the age. Just imagine a 22-year-old guy dating a 28-year-old lady. Maybe he just graduated. She's ready for marriage. And whether you like it or not, even if they don't mind, there's also a biological clock. Ladies have menopause and guys are till infinity. So you see, when ladies are trying to put pressure, or on you or any such thing, just remember that the dynamics are different for them. So there are just some things that make it practically difficult or challenging, and that's why if the girl is going to be older, I would say maybe 3 years max. I would say I'm speaking like Paul. And so that's what I would say.
I think just basically putting into cognizance everything that Pastor has said. I've seen 4 years gaps that have worked, do you understand? But really it's about your level of exposure, and then can you submit to this person who is younger than you?
Because Bible rules are Bible rules.
Yeah, so you still have to submit to him even though you are younger. You still have to submit to him as the head of the relationship. Somebody was asking that, how do you settle with one person when there might be somebody better outside? But I think we've how are you sure this is the person?
Please don't date and in your mind you are waiting for someone better to show up. I think people do. It's a very dishonest thing to do. Don't use anyone to fill your space. That space in your heart. No economic, no manipulation of that sort. I said economic, that was wrong. No manipulation of that sort. When you pick one person, you are going to favor the person above everyone else in the world.
And I think we need to realize that relationships are not a hobby, because sometimes people just pick this person to be dating until they feel their own spouse will come out. Sometimes what happens is your own spouse now comes, but you're already occupied. The person doesn't want you to cheat, so they walk away. So many times we have to be okay with being single. I talk about this in my book, Dating Intelligently.
So if you want to wait. If you think that under normal circumstances this is not the person you settle with, then just wait. Because the reality of the situation is both of you will get better with time as your career goals are achieved, as you become more mature, more confident, and all of that. And so if you have that mindset, even in the deepest recesses of your mind, you are going to be more susceptible to temptation. So you want to avoid that.
I think that's really beautifully said. Somebody wants to know how I dealt with my first pregnancy. When we were married young, like I remember thinking to myself, like I was just my mommy's baby yesterday and now I have a baby. So
listen, first and foremost, as a guy, I think that your respect for women will go through the roof, when you see a woman being a human being coming out of your wife. It's not easy at all. It's not.
I remember you cried that day, the day Adima came, and you said, "This girl, if you're ever rude to my wife, I'm gonna deal with you.
I will spank you." I think that was one of the first things I told
That was the first thing you said.
if you disrespect this woman, I'm going to descend on you.
Like a newborn baby. What does she know?
So I think psychologically, I had to be strong for you. Like you were going through a lot, and I couldn't respond. Then I was seeing a lot of things
That I wasn't seeing, but I was
exactly like. So I had to be strong. So the moment you were done and your own crying finished, and I held the baby, I didn't even know what came over me. I just started crying. All the bottled emotions.
Oh my goodness. But I think handling it, I think first of all,
And the baby just came out with eyes wide open, looking at everyone like,
and yellow like this. I was like,
very
this girl is
yellow.
so fair. But for me, I was grateful to, I think, having exposed to leadership quite early, and I used to. I was one of those
you've
people
always
that
been a
used
strong
to.
woman, really.
I was one of those people that used to go to orphanages, try and even from when I was in children's church, I used to take care of the younger children. So I'd always really wanted to be a mom. So I guess I that really helped. And then having a strong support system, there was you and my mom stayed with us for like
I
6
think that's what
months.
made the whole situation very scary for me, because seeing you, one of the strongest women I know, the way you reacted to that, I said this thing must be very painful. the way you did command me, rub my back, leave me alone. Eh? One time you were squeezing my hand, I said you will break this hand.
Can you remember Nadia's one? I actually wanted to bite your hand. It was when I
to
said,
relieve pain.
when I said, don't bite me, don't bite me. Oh my god. Somebody wants to know, we're going to have to begin to round off shortly. I think we should be done here by 7. But someone wants to know, do you need to have financial stability before getting married to your partner? Do you need to have it all before marriage?
No, we definitely didn't even have it.
That's why we're talking about intro tech.
You know. So, well, I think what you really need to have is a sense of direction, career-wise. You must have a career path. Listen, so even if you don't need to have it all, the person must be able to see a track record of consistency in your life. That this person, a lot of ladies just marry a lazy guy who would not really exert himself, has no desire to improve, do well for the family. Some would allow their wives to be working, bringing money home, taking care of everybody and all of that. You need to look out for that, because I'm not going to comment on that.
So he's not saying that women should not work. He's just saying that you don't just leave everything to your wife.
I'm telling you. So there should be a track record of consistency, and then you see a clear career path. This person is not where he wants to be, but is not where he used to be. I think that's very clear. So because you must be able to bet on the person's future. That's what saying yes to someone is. You're taking a bet on the person's future, and it has to be beyond emotions. See, and that's why I said marriage is a project. Yeah. So butterflies aside, it's not I love you that's going to pay children's school fees. It's not I love you that's going to, and that's why I think you were also someone of great forecast. I even need to ask you, like, how were you crazy enough to take a bet with someone like me? Because on one hand, I knew, like,
that question there, I know you've mentioned it to me before. You once said thank you for believing in me when there was nothing to believe in. But the thing is that the way I've always seen you, like, you've always been a very big deal to me. So maybe it's a gift of grace, maybe it's, I don't know, but you've always
definitely
been
a gift of grace.
You've always been like a really big deal to me. Even when people say, "Oh, is that him?" or I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I couldn't. You've always been a big deal to me. So I don't know if it's
like,
really
I understand
required.
like me being a big deal to you ministry wise, but when it comes to saying yes to someone who has a call to ministry, and you get what I'm saying, and thank God I was willing to take a job for a 1-year period.
Yes,
but
was it even up to a year? It was a couple of months.
It was a year exactly. But the reality is, you did say yes before then, and it's very interesting.
I have to investigate that. I think also because I had seen you build stuff.
Yes.
I had seen you build stuff, and I could see your heart.
Yes.
And I just knew.
And then
you.
in retrospect also, I just had a very, very sacred mindset of ministry, because it's not as if our ministry was really doing bad.
No,
because they were. I know in my final year, our fellowship actually recorded an inflow of 1 million. But
I
in
didn't
one
know.
particular month.
Wow.
When we sold, I
There was
think we sold
devotional.
2,000 copies of devotional then. But the reality is, I never put myself on a salary or any such thing.
So
And
the 1 million, no, it was not for us. It was
Actually.
for the world.
actually,
And then that was actually a windfall season because it wasn't
Yes.
as if it was something that we
Yeah,
consistently
yes.
had. But
Yes.
I think it was largely a gift of grace. I think I always
Definitely.
knew that.
Definitely.
And then for me, being with you was price enough. So even if 7 years later we were still
You're
we were
touching
still
me with all these words.
Valentine, do something, shake body.
Remember that next time, quarrel. Anyway, so
Qual what? Qual PL? Quarrel.
What's that?
But I wanted to say that even if we were still pastoring a church in Ikotun, it would have still been a lot.
Oh yeah. See, I think I want to say this, that many times people see us. I don't even know what people see when they look at us, because God has helped us to be really content. And now I don't even really dwell on the glamour that people see. Like there was something big that happened in the ministry, and someone tapped me and said, "Pastor, how do you feel?" And that's when I really thought about it, that this is big. Like I just want to please God.
I think that that's the price for me, because I always wanted somebody who just wanted to do what God will have him do, and for me that was a big deal. So it's incredible that God is having us have an international ministry and travel the world and things like that. But I really wanted somebody who would just follow the Lord, and I guess that's always been it for me, really.
Mariwell, oh God.
Somebody wants to know, how did we deal with the fear of, okay, not us, but how do you deal with the fear of getting married, especially when you come from a broken home?
I feel like you have to change your environment. It's very important, because no matter how spiritual you are, you see, never joke with what psychologists call mental models. And if you don't have any close example of good marriages, you have to consciously remove yourself from that space, renew your mind with the word of God, and if possible, just try to you need good pastors as models, not just pastors who know the word, but have like something remotely close to the kind of marriage that you want, and all of that. I think that's one of the best things you can do for yourself. Because if you're from a broken home, sometimes we underestimate the impact that such things have on us, and some people actually never really recover. There are some people that even when they find the right person, they are subconsciously projecting the failures of their father or their mom on that person, and some of the innocent questions. That there's a way someone can ask you a question and you misjudge the motives of the question, and you answer based on what you think the person is asking, and
because your worldview is shaped by what you've seen.
exactly, and then you just wonder why you're always quarreling. And it's a huge psychological battle. You have to renew your mind. You have to look for good examples and dwell on them as much as possible.
I was telling them to get me a copy of Dating Intelligently, because there I talk about dealing with the ghosts of relationship
Well,
past.
the way this mic works, even if you whisper, it will still pick it.
So anyways, I should just said it in the mic directly. But in the book, I talk about dealing with ghosts of relationships past, and I truly believe that it is possible to change the trajectory for your family.
That book is a very good book, by the way. I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
From past state, that means the world to me.
Dating Intelligently is a good book.
Yeah, so please get your copy of Dating Intelligently on datingintelligently.com. I talk about dealing with ghosts of relationships past, and I wanted to let you know that regardless of the bloodline or what has happened in your family, you now belong to the bloodline of Christ. So by the Spirit of God, you can change the trajectory of your future, of your marriage, and you need to let fear out of the window. So you need to deal with this in the place of the word and prayer, as well as changing your mindset, exposing yourself to a better environment by seeing the kind of marriages that you want to see growing up, and by always remembering that it is possible to have a good marriage regardless of the kind of marriage that you are coming from.
Amen.
All right, one last question.
Okay.
And then we'll do our final words and be out of here. Pastor, they want to know, do I want to answer this question? They want to know if you paid bride price, and what is your view on bride price?
Well, if you've met my parents-in-law, you know that they are one of the most reasonable, kindest people, that you would ever meet. So, even the sheer idea of a high bride price was visibly irritating to my father-in-law, and his wife. So they at least they said to me at least 3 times that our daughter is not for sale. They said that, and they didn't need to make any comment on that. So, but symbolically that day they just made me bring 7 notes. In fact, they said any denomination of my choice. So I think culturally either 7 or 14. I think.
I can't remember.
I think it was
either.
14 notes, and they said it can be either
100 naira, 500 naira, 1,000.
exactly. What any currency or any. I should have brought 14,000.
Because I mean, expensive
And-
wife.
And
AO 14.
it was just symbolic. And they were wait now, and there were a couple of other things that we just did. Of
Your
our
family
own
was
volition.
very, very generous. Really, they really went out of their way. I think that one of my greatest rewards of marrying you has been your family.
I can
from
say
day
the same.
one.
I can say the same. I mean, your parents, they were here yesterday, and you were not even around. You were in Ibadan, and they were here. Your dad and I watched the football game together. It was really fun. I really loved them.
I love your family
Yeah.
too. Yeah, they are incredible.
And then we took pictures afterwards. It was fun.
Ah. My dad went somewhere and they introduced him as Pastor Iren's father-in-law. Oh my goodness.
You told me about it.
Yeah. So final words on marrying young. Will you go first or do I go first? Will you go first?
Okay. I could, whatever
Okay,
you
go
say.
first. You go first.
Not like I have anything to say.
Okay, let me say something so that
Okay,
I'll give you
okay,
more
yes.
time to think about, since it wasn't
Okay.
part of our list of questions. I think that many times people associate youth with foolishness. And they say, oh, well, you're young, now is the time to make mistakes, now is the time to... And sometimes I get where they're coming from, but I truly believe that you can be young and make good decisions. And I feel like many of us need to recalibrate our minds to understand that you can be young and make good decisions about your relationship, make good decisions about your career. I remember telling one of my aunties then, who eventually became one of my closest aunties to you, so I want to get married. She said, okay, what of the masters that your mates are doing? You don't want to do it. It's like, why the rush? So I think that sometimes when you are young and you know where you're going and you know what God will have you do, don't always feel... Paul told Timothy, he said, don't let anybody despise your youth. Meaning that there's a tendency for people to actually look down on you, whether it's about your ministry or your business or your relationship, because you are young. But I would say that as a young person, yes, take good advice, but if God has asked you to do something, whether in your relationship or otherwise, and you are ready, I think that it's important that you take that leap of faith and know that you can make the right decision the first time. I'm not saying you must date the person, you must marry the person you are dating now, or you must marry before a particular age, but don't just sell yourself short because you are young. Experience isn't always the best teacher. You can read books like this book, Date Intelligently, study the Word of God, listen to messages, and if you find yourself in an environment that God has placed you in, that you can sense, for example, from one of my earliest interactions with what is now Celebration Church, I knew that this was something that God wanted me to do for life. And so you find yourself in that kind of environment and you know it's in your spirit, embrace it wholeheartedly and don't worry about your age. God is old enough to carry you. So I think that's basically...
That's powerful. And I think what I will just say is this. A better clock to make your life decisions by will not be your biological clock, but your purpose clock. So you are old enough when you know why you're here, when you have a sense of direction in your life, so that's very important, because when it all comes down to it, we are not by any stretch saying that you have to marry young, or you have to marry old. It depends on who you are. Some people are ready for marriage only at the age of 35. Some are ready for God's sake. I've said this. According to Bible history, Mary and Joseph were teenagers. Were actually teenagers. Some say 16, 17, that young. And you may argue, based on our definition of the age where the state considers you to be an adult, but that hasn't really always applied. But the reality of the situation is they felt they were ready, God felt they were ready, and all of that. And some people are ready at such a young age, and honestly, not every 30-year-old I've seen
tell me about it
is ready for marriage. So I think it all boils down to purpose. You need to discover why you're here, discover God's purpose for your life, and nothing matures a man or a woman like purpose.
Took me word.
It's almost as if your life begins to count when you find Jesus. That was the case for me. Like, it was such a switch. The moment I got born again, I didn't want to waste my time. And everything about me took on a whole new meaning, and it was very visible very early. Like, people who had known me before would literally ask me, what's going on? What has changed? So I just had a sense of direction, somewhat a sense of urgency when ministry started. And so there was no waste of time. There is this lie of the enemy that you need to explore life. See, many Christians still have a secular worldview, and it's an unspoken secret consideration in their mind that I want to explore. They feel like their youth will be stolen from them if they settle on time, and that's sin. That's actually sin, luring you. Because I don't know what. I think I've had the time of my life. I don't think you've slowed me down in any way. I think it's been very adventurous, and it's just beautiful doing purpose with you. Somehow, not everybody thinks like this, but when my wife is in Ibadan preaching and I'm on Lagos Island preaching, and then she goes to
it's
Abuja.
Like this preaching thing really tells you when I don't understand what's going on.
I will say the rest off camera, but like it was top on the list for me. Like, let's share with you for this Satan together. You understand? So that was my own idea of just doing ministry together and all of that. And I think that's what really measures if you're ready or not.
And thank you so much, Pastor, for being here today.
Thank you.
We've joked around a lot, but I really am honored that you spent your time with us today. You guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and subscribe.
Please subscribe to this channel.
Pastor's channel as well.
Oh yeah, you can subscribe to my channel too. But hey, if you're here, please subscribe to this channel. Guess what? Nobody sees the notifications for those who are subscribed. So go ahead, Nicodemus, subscribe. Nobody's gonna know.
And Pastor's
I'm saying that because I know a lot of people follow our channel who don't subscribe.
So we wouldn't know you are the one. You just add the numbers.
Exactly. And then click the bell button until you see the parentheses so that you can be notified as soon as we are live or she is live.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Even if you don't have a boo, Jesus is your boo.
And even if you're single, at least you have a singlet. If that helps.
And even if you chop breakfast, God is preparing dinner for you in the presence of your enemies.
So is it God preparing the breakfast? Maybe this is a sign from God. If you're dating the wrong person, God's breakfast
is coming. You guys, thank you all for joining in. Have a great evening. Enjoy your Valentine's Day.
Bye. Don't do anything naughty today. Don't do anything naughty. Leave that house. Carry your bag and go.
This video.
Carry your bag. This is a word from the Lord. Leave that house. You go get beleo. You will get beleo. Leave that house now. God bless you.